Hello and welcome to the CS Week Marketplace webinar series. This series offers fresh perspectives and strategies presented monthly by knowledge specialists from the Conference 40 Platinum and Gold sponsors. I'm Lisa Collins with CS Week, your moderator today. We invite you to mark your calendars for CS Week and Conference 41 to be held May 22nd to the 26th, 2017 at the Fort Worth Convention Center in Fort Worth, Texas. Watch your email and the social media channels for registration information later this fall. This program will be recorded and available for playback along with our other archived presentations later this afternoon. You will find it by selecting Marketplace under the Webinars drop-down menu on our csweek.org homepage. Attendees are encouraged to upload questions to the Q&A panel as they arise. However, we will hold these questions until the end of the presentation for the Q&A segment. Please ensure that you address your questions to all panelists so that I may see them. And then also, please, if you have a question that is directed to a particular panelist, please list that in your question as well. Today's webinar is Utility Marketplaces, Animating the New York Market and Beyond. Your presenters are Yoav, Lurie, CEO and founder of Simple Energy, Laura Butler, Director of Digital Customer Experience with Central Hudson Gas and Electric Corporation, and Denise Pagano, Manager of Customer Energy Services with Orange and Rockland Utilities. Yoav is the CEO and founder of Simple Energy, where he is responsible for the company's overall strategy and direction. Simple Energy is a software-as-a-service company that is changing how millions of people save energy by making it social, fun, and rewarding. For its utility customers, Simple Energy both meets regulation-driven energy efficiency goals and increases customer satisfaction. Prior to founding Simple Energy, Yoav helped build Centeractive, a Washington, D.C.-based IT services firm, where he led the effort to rebuild recovery.gov, the official U.S. government website for tracking the 2009 American Recovery and Reinvestment Act. Yoav has also been managing director at Teach for America and has worked with Crisis Commons, a global community of volunteers that help build crowdsourced disaster relief web and mobile applications. After beginning her career 13 years ago in the electrical engineering department, then moving onto the world of metering, smart grid, and IT, Laura Butler now leads the Central Hudson Sun Hub, Reforming the Energy Vision Demonstration Project implementation as Director of Digital Customer Experience. Reforming the Energy Vision, REV, is the New York Public Service Commission's initiative for new utility business models. She graduated from Clarkson University with a Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering, went on to achieve a Master's in Electrical Engineering at the NYU Polytechnic, and is a certified Green Belt in Lean Six Sigma. During the past several years, Denise Pagano managed the residential energy efficiency programs at Orange and Rockland, leading program implementation and redesign to include the new REV initiative. She currently manages the customer engagement and marketplace platforms as part of the first REV demonstration project in the state of New York. Prior to the utility industry, Denise has over 15 years of merchandising, product management, and customer service experience in the retail and luxury good industries. She holds a bachelor's in marketing from Pace University. Welcome, Yoav, Laura, and Denise, and thank you for joining us today.
Thanks so much, Lisa. Hey, all. This is Yoav, I'm the founder and CEO at Simple Energy. Today, we're really excited to talk about the evolving utility business model and how some of the constraints and new demands being placed on utilities are forcing utilities to act in really different ways around their customers. As Lisa mentioned, we're really fortunate to have as case studies in this two of the leaders in this space who are acting in one of the most dynamic and progressive markets in the New York market as part of the Reforming the Energy Vision, or REV, program run through the New York Public Service Commission, and really thinking about what's pushing the bounds on the future of the utility. So as we think about some of the demands being placed on the utilities, we start with the customer. Customers have become accustomed to different ways of engaging with all sorts of service providers, from banks and airlines to mobile applications and to all sorts of services that they engage with, whether that be Uber or their local bank, and everything in between. They're really demanding that utilities up their game, and they're comparing utilities to all of these other service providers. they're looking for tailored advice, they're looking for intelligent applications, and they're seeking additional value beyond just the commodity. Simultaneously, utilities face demands from the technology and opportunities from this technology. An aging infrastructure and that forces new capital investment, as well as an opportunity for greater digitization. New technologies which replace former one-way communication devices or no communication devices into real two-way data flows between the utility and devices inside customers' homes. And finally, flat load growth and a really steep demand curve that is evolving in many places as we get into the later hours of the day as distributed resources come offline and customers come home in the evening. All of this is based on new expectations from regulators as well. Regulators are demanding that their utilities adopt and adapt to clean energy and distributed energy resources. They see the demand coming from customers and they want to be able to support that demand. But utilities are being called upon by regulators to do this while also providing reliability and flexibility of the grid itself and the infrastructure. And they must do all of this at ever lower prices by keeping rates down for customers. Balance all of these increased expectations and demands against the competitive demands of the public markets, which play on investor-owned utilities specifically, who require that these utilities have a steady and predictable profit, a dividend, and that they be able to chart a path forward in the face of new, potentially very disruptive business models. Even last night, we saw an entrant into the market, Tesla, who has previously been just in the electric car market, pushing towards acquiring a solar company and talking about a vision for effectively replacing the utility. Shareholders demand that utilities chart a path that is effective at responding to messages like that. But transforming the utility means transforming the approach, especially the approach to customers. And that's really where the two folks we have on the line today have been very much leaders in this space, and at Orange and Rockland Utilities and at Central Hudson, taking on the marketplace and using the marketplace and marketplace offerings as a backbone and undergirding model for the utility of the future. So what is a marketplace? A marketplace enables utilities to become the central resource for advice, products, and services to animate the market. This is going beyond just the commodity sale or beyond just information about the energy usage. The utility of the past may have provided a mechanism for a customer to get a rebate. The utility today and the utility of the future needs to provide that as an instant rebate with a curated experience that leverages lots of options for the customers, but really focusing on the most reliable, most cost-effective, highest quality offerings that the customer can have, and engaging in those on their own platform. So in that, there are some key components for the conversation today that I just want to bring up. Many folks have talked about what is a marketplace, and there seems to be some confusion in the markets. Just to level set for the conversation we're having today, when we refer to a marketplace, we're referring to a few things. First, a marketplace is a site where you can transact on the site itself. This is important for a few reasons, because when you transact on a utility's website, when you actually buy a smart Wi-Fi controllable thermostat that's enrolled in a demand response program, you can get the incentive from that enrollment at the point of sale. It's critical for two reasons. One, it accounts for about a tenfold increase in the participation in programs and the acquisition of devices. You just see when you put the rebate or incentive right there at the point of sale, you can literally have an order of magnitude difference on the number of products sold and the number of customers who participate. And second, and most importantly, is the grid side benefit. That if the customer is transacting on the site itself, that you're able to incorporate the rebate, you're able to incorporate the program sign-up, you're able to attribute it back to the individual customer. All of this is only possible if the customer is transacting on the utility site, engaging right there, where they're able to know where their incentive is coming from and build on the existing relationship they have with their utility. Another thing about marketplaces is that they have to offer multiple products and services. It's not a marketplace if it's just one thing. But it's also not a marketplace if it's a million things. A site that has a million things, it may be a great research site, but it's unlikely to drive a customer action. And for most of our customers, it's just going to confuse them. And finally, critical to a marketplace for the conversation we're having today for a utility marketplace is that it has a deep utility integration. The folks we're going to talk to today, I think Laura at Central Hudson will talk about the integration with the SendHub strategy that Central Hudson has taken on of being a really clear integration into their My account and into all of the utility operations as well as into transactions. So why do utilities love marketplaces? And they do, not only the folks at Orange and Rockland and Central Hudson, but we also have utilities from Georgia to Colorado and Minnesota, all across the country, taking advantage of marketplaces for primarily 3 reasons. The first is customer satisfaction. What a marketplace does is it gives the customer something else to engage with their utility on that's different from the historical pay your bill, get alerted to a high bill, for example, maybe find out about your energy usage. This gives them the opportunity to get a real benefit from the utility in real time for a product that they want, that they're going to use, that they'll use, and that they'll love. It also is a step function change in the demand-side management goals, whether that's the energy efficiency or the demand response goals. Utilities and utility demand energy efficiency leaders have known for years that some of the most effective demand-side management programs are upstream or midstream retailer rebate programs, where you're able to leverage instant rebates, primarily on low-priced products, in a retailer. What a marketplace does is it brings that same concept of buying down the price of a light bulb at Home Depot or Costco actually onto a website where that same buy down can be applied to the customer's individual account. And you still have the function of the instant rebate, but you get it at the higher priced items. So where in the past utilities were only comfortable doing that for sort of $1 or $2 per item, because of attribution questions, they're now willing to do it for much higher priced items and much larger rebates. They're going to have a much greater impact on the demand-side management goals because they're able to attribute it back to that individual customer's account. And that's a critical feature that just cuts the demand-side management overhead budget significantly, allowing the utility to spend more money on rebates and less money on management. And finally, as I mentioned in my opening about some of the pressures being placed on utilities and some of the new entrants from Tesla, Solar City, and the like, a marketplace allows the utility to be a part of this utility of the future. If a utility is selling solar panels, whether that's on a rooftop or a membership into a community solar garden, the utility is able to maintain the customer relationship over time, stay relevant to the customer, continue to communicate with the customer over time about that relationship. If they're selling a device, they're able to be part of that transaction and keep that customer in the program. As all of these new business models in our industry evolve, the role of the utility is frankly being put into question. And one of the key ways the utility can make sure to stay relevant is to be in the transaction and at the point of sale. With that, I want to hand it over to Laura with Central Hudson Gas and Electric to give us some insight into how they're approaching marketplaces, and more specifically, how they're approaching the imperative from the New York regulators around building a new business model and reforming the energy vision.
Thank you, Yoav. This is Laura, everyone. I hope everyone's having a great day. I wanted to talk a little bit about some background on REV for those who are not as familiar with it. Everyone here in New York State is very familiar with it. There's a lot of information that's been put out there. REV stands for, as they've said before, Reforming the Energy Vision, and it really started about 18 to 24 months ago. There were some significant events that kind of led up to this. So if anyone remembers Superstorm Sandy and how it kind of devastated the tri-state area, that really put a highlight on grid resiliency and how important it is for us to kind of step up our game in managing all of our infrastructure for utilities. In addition, there's been a lot of green and energy initiatives that New York State has been trying to push forward, and they've been really struggling to meet their goals. So the Governor's Office and our Public Service Commission kind of teamed up together, and under Audrey Zibelman, the new chair of the Public Service Commission, she put forward these kind of statements about what utilities need to do and how we need to shake up the utility industry. So again, highlighting system efficiencies, ways that we can integrate more distributed energy resources into the grid, and also how we can empower a customer and give them more choice, and kind of create a different kind of market where everyone's working together and customers kind of break away from the typical utility model of going back and asking for rate increases, and instead deliver products to customers where they have that option. Is this a value add for me? And yes, I'm willing to pay for this service, versus just flatly handing everything out to everybody and saying everybody has to pay for this. So that's really what a lot of the key elements of REV are, and those are the ones that we've really picked up on. And that's how Central Hudson has kind of envisioned how they're going to kind of map their approach going forward. So if we go on to the next slide, Central Hudson, just for a little bit of background, we're a pretty small utility. We're located in the Mid-Hudson Valley of New York, and we are a gas and electric utility. But despite being pretty small with 300,000 electric customers, less than 80,000 gas customers, we still cover quite a large territory with 2,600 square miles. So that introduces kind of its own challenges considering what we should do going forward. So on the next slide, when we looked at REV, we looked at it and the concept of these demonstration projects. That was another thing put forth with the PSC, was they wanted to see us propose different projects on how we can take those elements and concepts of REV and how we were going to make them work. So we saw it not just as a test of new technologies, but really a way to further our existing initiatives. The concept of a smarter grid is not really a brand new concept to utilities. We've been doing some stuff with controllable switches and everything since the early 2000s. So what we wanted to do was really elevate the programs that we already had running and find ways to kind of find those wish list items of things that we wish we had, the funding to do, because we think they'd be great for customers, and take those and kind of integrate them into the concept as well, and really look across the company, not just as, what can we do just for this one project, but what can we do as a whole in terms of a whole portfolio of ways that we could advance the grid and our opportunities for customers. So we came up with, a microgrid project. We came up with a demand response project that we filed under a different order called the non-wires alternative. And then we filed our REV demonstration project. But what we really also wanted to make sure as we filed each of those different projects and had these concepts, that we would integrate all those concepts together and make sure if we can cross-promote and bring that experience to customers more effectively on any of those programs, then that's really the real win there. And that really led to the concept of this Send Hub idea. Let's create a hub where everything that the customer cares about or is relevant to them, more of a personalized experience, is in one spot, and we kind of create that opportunity to connect to customers that way. I've read recently articles on the energy cloud, and I don't know if anyone's familiar with that concept, but what they've broken it down to is either you're an asset builder, a service provider, a tech creator, or a network orchestrator. And it's that network orchestrator piece that we really saw as an opportunity for us to bring value to customers. So obviously, we're not, Apple. We're not going to create these really cool devices that, the market goes crazy for. Instead, we have a solid customer base. We have a lot of information about those customers, and how can we make that information available in a way that maybe service providers like Apple or other companies could come and say, hey, we have something to offer your customers. All we need is this. So we thought, let's kind of lay the groundwork and set that platform up so that we can offer services to customers, but really anybody else can offer services to our customers, and our customers really are the real beneficiary of that. So next slide, please. So what we came up with was this concept of insight, empowerment, and exchange. So we wanted to create this one-stop shop for customers. So we've built that concept into the My Account experience. If you think about, Yoav mentioned other industries, airlines, banking, they're really good at modernizing their digital platforms and bringing services to customers that really add convenience and a lot of information in a way that's relevant to customers. We looked at those and we thought, how can we take our existing website, our mobile platform, and advance it and kind of keep up with those industries? And the ways that we thought we could do that is really through partnering with Simple Energy and taking a really good look at what we offer to customers in terms of our website and our mobile. So what we wanted to bring is ways that we can deliver information in actionable ways. So, right now, or in the past, like we offered information about your bill history and your usage information, but it was very tabular and not so effective for the customer to really easily understand it. Partnering with Simple Energy and the Insights pages, we now deliver that information in a graphical version. There's different ways that you can look at it, and it just puts it and presents it in a very clean and user-friendly way to customers where they can say quickly, am I doing good or am I doing bad? Another thing was really empowerment, like the customer, what can they do with that information? So information is only valuable if you know now, okay, what steps can I do to improve? So there's a whole element of, tips and rewards and ways, customers can be more energy efficient. So that really puts the power on the customer to say, hey, here's your situation, here's the options that you have, and go with whatever option works for you. And then the next step on that is, now there's ways that I can save. There's also these products available that can help me save even more. So that leads you into the whole e-commerce experience of the store, and we've partnered very closely with our energy efficiency team to make sure that we can fund rebates that can drive sales and offer more opportunity and maybe bring devices into a home that maybe before weren't affordable. So next slide, please. So the biggest thing that we're looking at is really creating that advanced, more modern, better digital experience for our customers, putting it all in one place so it's really, with energy efficiency especially, stuff was siloed. We had great programs running, but the effectiveness was kind of limited by customers knowing where to go, where to find more information. So we're trying to take all those elements of our energy efficiency programs and kind of bring them into one spot where it makes sense, introduce information so you're not overwhelming the customer, but at the same time you're making it really easy for them to take advantage of a program, which the instant rebates to the store is a perfect example of that. And, we've kind of learned a lot as we've gone through this. We learned a lot about marketing. We have different marketing channels going where we're promoting different sales on the store. We've done some experiments with different pricing. We did effectively a $1 per bulb campaign, and we saw tremendous sales volume for that campaign. And we're also cross-promoting everything. So we've created this concept of Send Hub. It's really a family of offerings. So we have Send Hub My Account, we have Send Hub Insights, Send Hub Store, and we've even expanded it. As I mentioned before, we have a demand response program. We've expanded that family offering into demand response. We now call it Send Hub Peak Perks, and that's our targeted demand response program. So we're cross-promoting the programs together. We've started an advertising campaign now with demand response that when they're out there marketing to people, they're now giving them a coupon for a free pack of light bulbs on the store, trying to get those people to then go into the store and make more purchases. So we're really looking at everything as an opportunity to cross-sell. And the biggest thing that kind of has come out of this, it's a new way of doing business overall. So REV isn't a concept of a new way of doing business for the utilities, but in order to deliver on REV, even for the internal team, it was a new way of doing business. So we actually embraced that and created a completely new group. We're in a open collaborative workspace. It's a combination of our existing energy efficiency team members, members from other groups. I formerly came from IT. We have customer service is now on the team. We brought in some brand new hires. And then we also, because we're trying to do things that we've never done before, we've brought in quite an extensive team of external partners and consultants. So as we were building out this concept of this one-stop shop, you know, the biggest thing that we saw was it has to be single sign-on. Like, you can't ask the customer to have to re-sign in on every page that they click on, especially, you know, as we expand beyond just working with Simple Energy. What if we work with other partners? You want it to still be that one integrated experience and the customer to feel like they never left, you know, because otherwise it's just disjointed. And we really wanted to, like, add that convenience level to customers as well. And we have accomplished that by creating this new team and also matrixing it out to our call center, IT, our corporate communications group, our marketing group. We're all working together on this project. And the ways that we've done that is also kind of changing the way that we run projects. So, you know, there's this concept of Agile methodology instead of waterfall, which is very typical for utilities. We tried to take elements of Agile and introduce them, and that was kind of a scary undertaking, but, you know, the nice thing about it was we had some resources on the team, and then also Simple Energy they were very familiar with that whole concept of Agile and running sprints and user stories and all this stuff. And for web development, it was fantastic. You know, we took a project that probably would have taken many, many months to deliver on and effectively did it in less than 4 months. And the only way that we were able to do that was by having the right resources, by following the right project management methods, and you know, we're really, really proud of what we're able to deliver in such a short time period. And now the challenge is, how do we keep it going? So, you know, we've created this. We don't want to stop now. We want to keep advancing, and that's kind of what the team is working full speed ahead on right now. So I think with this, I'm going to hand it over to Denise to talk about Orange and Rockland's experience.
Thank you, Laura, and hello, everyone. Just a little bit about Orange and Rockland. We are actually a wholly owned subsidiary of Con Ed, and we're located in the northwestern suburbs of New York City. Along with our 2 utility subsidiaries, Rockland Electric and Pike County Light and Power, we serve a population of approximately 750,000 in 7 counties in New York, northern New Jersey, and northeastern Pennsylvania. More recently, we finalized the sale of Pike County Light and Power, and we're working through this transfer. This subsidiary served nearly 5,000 customers, combined gas and electric, in the state of Pennsylvania. In New York State, we serve approximately 230,000 electric customers and approximately 128,000 natural gas customers. Our service territory encompasses over 1,300 square mile region. We're principally residential in nature with a broad base of commercial, industrial, agricultural, and recreational facilities. Next slide. So O&R, in partnership with Simple Energy, has implemented a customer engagement marketplace platform designed to create a network of third-party product and service partners accessible through a digital platform. Now, in accordance with the New York REV initiatives, our platform was designed to fulfill a number of these objectives, some of which included exploring new business models by generating revenue through the sale of energy-efficient products and services, engaging customers through an online marketplace and customer portal focused on increasing their awareness of energy consumption, and suggesting new ways for load reduction by showing customers their individual energy use, providing them information on how to reduce that usage, and thereby alleviating the need for our costly investment in infrastructure. So many of these goals are accomplished through our customer engagement marketplace platform. So our platform consists of two main components. It's the My ORU Advisor and the My ORU Store. The My ORU Advisor is our online engagement portal where customers can better understand their energy use through home insight reports, find tips in a virtual home, read suggestions on how to save energy and money, along with earning rewards for taking energy-saving actions. The My ORU Store is our e-commerce website selling energy-efficient and distributed energy resource products and services, offering instant rebates, product information, and customer reviews. Customers receive and act upon personalized product recommendations through buyer guides and product information. They make educated decisions and evaluate products and services that meet their individual needs. Next slide. So why the marketplace? Well, there are a number of benefits that the Customer Engagement Marketplace platform provides, not only to the utility, but to the customers as well. It focuses on providing customers a one-stop shop for products and services to meet their energy needs. Customers are given suggestions on how to better manage their energy use, reduce their consumption, and save money. They've become educated about the latest technology offering improved energy efficiency. Customer reviews listed on the marketplace provide valuable feedback regarding product selection and reveal customer preferences and satisfaction. There's a natural shift in customer beliefs and opinions as they begin to view their utility as their trusted energy advisor. No more lengthy rebate applications. Instant rebates provide a progressive shopping experience with products and services at compelling price points. Now for Orange and Rockland, this marketplace provides us a platform to offer high-quality products and services that promote energy efficiency and demand reduction. As energy consumption decreases, we can better manage the grid and potentially defer these investments in costly infrastructure. Our environment benefits from the reduction in greenhouse gas emissions, and we as a utility contribute to New York State aggressive energy goals. A comprehensive marketplace that provides customers with distributed energy resources and energy-efficient offerings, instantaneous rebates, easy-to-use interactive tools, and access to recommended third-party service installers will all deliver a rewarding customer experience and build positive brand recognition for O&R. Through the sale of these products and services, we can also generate new revenue opportunities for our company as well as other interested third parties. Next slide. The Customer Engagement Marketplace platform is helping O&R reach its customers in ways that speak to them and their motivations. Through personalized messaging, we can provide our customers valuable information and relevant product choices to help them save energy, money, and the environment. The days of a one-size-fits-all approach are no longer. Customers engaged in a fun, interactive way at various times in different ways, allowing for increased touch points across an end-to-end personalized customer journey. This platform allows O&R to adapt to the shift in customer behavior by addressing the migration towards the need for online, mobile, and consultative services. Providing a progressive e-commerce experience streamlined with instant rebates and the cross-promotion of company energy efficiency and demand response programs will all add credibility with our customers. O&R now has the ability and the opportunity to establish a platform for targeted efforts in load pocket areas, allowing flexibility for enhanced rebates, energy efficiency, and demand response efforts. This shift in energy policy and initiatives has pressed utilities to adapt our internal structure. A number of working groups have been formed at O&R to manage the numerous REV demo projects, including one group called the Utility of the Future. Also, existing internal departments have taken on new roles to support these efforts, and new business processes have been developed. The future is open to endless possibilities, including the addition of new products and services valuable to our customers, distributed energy resources options such as solar, as well as opportunities to collaborate with our neighboring water utility to promote joint water energy saving products. And now I'd like to turn it back to Yoav to talk more about the utility of the future.
Thanks, Denise, and thanks, Laura. Those are two really great case studies on what both Central Hudson and Orange and Rockland are doing to really test out new business models and to test out, as Laura referenced the Navigant article that I think really well summarizes this effort to build out the network orchestrator model, and I think it's a really key component of what the utility of the future is going to be all about. As we think about that utility of the future, we're not quite sure where it's going to be, and one of the things we are sure of is it's going to be very different in different places. In every place, though, we think that it should leverage some of the assets that the utility has. They're unique to the utility. That the utility really has an advanced market position that can be leveraged. There are four key components to this to the utility that others frankly don't have. The first is the brand. Many of you on the line today, in addition to Laura and Denise, have worked at utilities that have been in business and serving your local communities for 100 years or more, and have built a brand and a reputation that's built on trust and that has provided reliable, affordable, high-quality energy to people for generations. And that's a brand that, frankly, around large purchases in the home, is a brand that needs to be leveraged and a brand that needs to be maintained through the delivery of a high-quality product. The next is a channel. This is a qualified customer base of customers where you already have a billing and a payment relationship that you can leverage, and a relationship that is the foundation for this future. So taking advantage of that existing customer base, Laura talked about how the close integration with the energy efficiency group is fueling the success of the marketplace. And so leveraging the regulated components of the business model to spur this new innovation through the marketplace, which also then creates this incredible cost savings on the regulated side. So it's leveraging that regulated rebate to drive the new business model, which also not only gives the utility more of an incentive and driver to act, but also provides a solution for the demand-side management goals at a much lower cost. The next asset that all utilities have is data. Every utility has data about their customers, data about payments and payment history, data about energy usage, data that has been acquired from third parties. This is critical data for targeting and giving the right offer to the right customer and being able to offer them a solution that has a really known payback. And so you can actually tell a customer, here's when you will save and what the ROI is based on their real energy usage. We need to leverage that data. And finally, a critical component of every marketplace and of the utility of the future is this budget. The underlying budget the utility has from the regulated budget and the demand-side management, energy efficiency demand and response budgets, they're able to really kickstart these programs. On top of this, we build the Simple Energy Marketplace, which has 5 components. Not sales pitch, so I won't spend too much time on it, but turnkey marketing, instant rebates, program signups. So at the point of sale, the customer is getting the instant rebate, which is driving a 10-fold increase in participation, but also getting that customer to sign on for new programs, and individualizing the incentives across the grid to maximize grid-side benefit. This then unlocks new utility business models and new opportunities for the utility. So some of the products that are offered, from connected devices, which are two-way and communicating, and community solar, it's also getting into home services around key moments in the customer's life cycle with the utility, whether it's a service appointment or a new product or appliance installation. It's about sending pre-provisioned devices out to customers or integrating it with financing. Because when we know what a customer's energy usage is, and we know what the ROI on the product will be based on that energy usage, and then we can offer them a financing component, which can drop their monthly payment to less than their monthly savings, that enables us to get products into homes that have a positive ROI on day one, because the monthly payment for that product on bill is less than the savings that the customer sees on their bill, and we can target those customers there, and in doing so, really drive a completely new thinking to how we approach many of the regulated energy efficiency and demand-side management budgets. And finally, this then leads to some of the opportunities that we see customers talking about in terms of the utility of the future. So the new revenue models that are associated with this, of course, that's something like a share of the proceeds or a payment from an advertising payment from someone who's participating on the marketplace, to transactive energy that has real-time price signals between devices. We cannot achieve the future vision that many of us have about devices communicating with one another and across a grid related to rates based on the real-time price signals without the customer buying those, either the customer signing up through an arduous process after buying the product, or even better, the customer buys the product through a utility marketplace where it's already connected, part of that program, it's got an incentive to kickstart the engagement there, it's financed on the bill. As we talk about the utility of the future, one of the things we just know is that the utility of the future will require a component of a transaction that happens on the utility site. And we're seeing this across the country. We're seeing different approaches to this. Xcel Energy in Colorado and Minnesota doing a bring your own device thermostat program, where customers are increasing the rate of adoption and now seeing close to 90% of all customers enrolling through a marketplace because the instant rebate was that much better. And those customers are much more satisfied, much happier. Contrasting that with a utility like Georgia Power, which has lofty expectations around the revenue share that they'll be able to drive from the marketplace that they've deployed as part of Southern Company's broader commitment to deploying marketplaces across their enterprise. What we're seeing across the country is utilities taking marketplace and taking the idea of being this network orchestrator to another level, making it appropriate for their own context, and then building out their own utility business model, their own efforts at getting new products and services out to market, their own effort, as Laura said, to be more agile, to bring new services into their overall portfolio. We're seeing that all enabled by marketplace, and I think even in two close utilities in upstate New York, we've seen today two very different approaches to how they're approaching the utility future and how they're leveraging this marketplace to do just that. So with that, I want to open the floor to Q&A. I'm going to hand it back to Lisa to run that. I know some folks have been asking questions in the chat room, and we really appreciate it. And in case I don't get to talk again, Denise and Laura, thank you both so much for sharing your insights and experience with the group today.
Well, thank you. That was a very valuable presentation, and I'm sure the information was received warmly by the attendees. We have had some questions come in, but I do want to remind the attendees, if you would please upload them to all panelists, and also include if there's a specific presenter you'd like to answer the question. So the first question I have, it came in, and it's for Laura. It says, what has been the customer feedback from using these platforms?
That's a great question. So customer feedback, kind of we're capturing in a couple different measures that we're looking at. So in terms of products sold, we've sold over 3,000 products since April. We've seen on the insights pages about 3% of enrollees have filled in their home profile, which is pretty much like a wizard tool that you step through and answer questions about your home, which is really valuable to us because it's information that we don't necessarily have about the customer in our records. And it allows us to give them more targeted, more effective energy efficiency savings tips. And that, 3% may sound small, but we had a year one goal of 5%, and we're already at 3%. So that's really, really ahead of schedule for what we're looking for. And we've seen an uptick in our My Account registrations. about 6% increase in those registrations. And, that's something that we're closely tracking, and we're trying to drive more and more awareness of what is now kind of encompassed in my account and why it's valuable for customers to have that. So right now, the feedback from those metrics has been pretty good, and we're just trying to find ways that we can just raise the visibility and make people more aware of all these different programs that we have going on.
Okay, great. Denise, would you have any additional input there or anything you would like to add?
Sure. I definitely feel that the instant rebates have been received very well by customers. They've often been challenged with lengthy applications, a lot of forms to fill out, attachments to make, and the instant rebates provide that ease of use for them. The ability to go to one place from their utility for their energy advice has been well received. Customers trust us as their energy advisor, and they rely on us to provide us that type of information, and now we're providing products and services along with that. As far as we've actually done some quality checks on the services just to make sure, since we are using third-party service installers, we have called several customers to find out their feedback, and we've gotten some really wonderful comments from them, and we'll continue to gather that feedback to find out how these third-party service installers are performing and to ensure customer satisfaction is our priority.
I would add one thing, which is just we've seen historically, it's not news to anyone on this call, customers love to save money and customers love to get great products into their homes and to do so seamlessly. What's unique about Marketplace and what we're seeing across the country is that a value that had previously been attributed to a retailer because of a midstream rebate is now getting attributed to the utility. So when the utility is providing the rebate, but they're doing it through a buy down of a product on a store shelf, the utility gets very little brand equity there, and they certainly never hear about the value that they're delivering to the customer. But when it happens on the Marketplace, it's generating this incredibly positive goodwill, and it's directly attributed back to the utility, which a lot of utilities are getting a lot of value out of.
Very good. I have another question. It came in for Laura. The question says, what's next for SendHub? Next phases, additional offerings, question mark?
All right, we have a lot going on. Right now we're underway with our second phase where we're taking our entire web platform and moving it onto a web content management system. With that, we're also re-looking at the way we've done single sign-on and really going forward on a more effective identity management kind of strategy where we can take information that we know about our customers and find ways to utilize that and create a more personalized experience for all of our customers. And that's really well underway. We're close to going live. We're about a couple weeks away. And then phase 3, what we've mapped out there is to, again, expand upon what we've already created with Simple Energy, but then bring in another partner or partners, really, at this point, and offer customers a subscription-based service. So something that we offer for a couple bucks a month, and it would be a value-added service. So the way we're envisioning it right now is that it would be this advanced analytics type of package where they can kind of go beyond what's already delivered on the insights pages. For us, it's a challenge because we only read meters every 2 months. So in terms of usage information and being able to take that usage information and have actions come out of it is a challenge because you get 6 reads a year. So what we're looking to do is partner with a meter provider and on a voluntary basis, customers can subscribe, and that would include the installation of a smart meter. So now that customer now has interval meter reading, and they can get alerts, they can set budgets for themselves, and there's a whole bunch of advanced features built within the Simple Energy platform that they can leverage that they can't leverage today. In addition, we're looking at other ways that we can possibly bundle additional products into that offering to make it a little more attractive to customers. And then, you know, one thing that we're also investigating is, again, tying into our demand response, are there ways that we can wrap portions of that program into the targeted demand response program so that maybe we can drive down the cost of that program to the customer, or maybe even make it free to the customer, because now, you know, the vendor that's helping us with targeted demand response is contributing to that cost. So there's a lot of different ways that we're looking at it, trying to find the best value for customers, and that's something that we're working on we're targeting to launch before the end of the year.
Well, very good. That is a good many things you have going on there. Denise, would you like to take this for Orange and Rockland too?
Sure. We just recently launched our advisor, which consists of the home energy reports, and that's sort of the jumping point for a lot of our customers to show them their usage, provide them tips, information, show them that there's rebate options and products and services on our website that can help them better manage their energy use. We're continuing to explore new product introductions. We want to have a wide breadth of product assortment with a variety of price points, so it's available to customers of all different preferences, from entry price point lighting to you know, more sophisticated, higher tech connected home lighting products, Wi-Fi thermostats, things of that nature, some home security devices. We're looking into solar as an opportunity for the future. And as far as services, we just recently launched fixed price services with 3 of our local contractors. So we're partnering with third-party service installers in our community, helping to bring some of those services to the customers. So they can purchase essentially a thermostat on our website. They can purchase the service and contact an installer and have that done. They can enroll in our Bring Your Own Thermostat Demand Response program. They can receive instant rebates from the Energy Efficiency Department. So it's sort of a one-stop shop for a customer. And we'll continue to explore non-fixed price services and larger appliances as new product and service introductions in the future.
Oh, very good. So I have a question that came in for Laura. The question says, can you provide more details on what Agile is and how it can be applied in the utility context?
Sure. So Agile is a project management methodology, and it's an iterative methodology. So traditional waterfall, you know, you create your plan, you do extensive requirements gathering, and then you start your design, your build, your test, and you kind of roll out your project that way. With Agile, what you're looking at, instead of the traditional way of capturing requirements, you think of it as what they call a user story. So from the user's perspective, what should they be able to do? And with a website design project, this actually was extremely effective for a lot of different reasons. So there was, you know, clearly laying out what we want to see on each page, and when you have each click, what should happen with each click. You know, that made it a lot easier to kind of create that story of the user. It also kind of created this example of, like, there's not just one type of user, and there's not just one type of utility customer. So you kind of had to play a role to say, okay, which type of customer is this? And when they are on the site, what do they want to see? What do they expect? And it was a really fun opportunity for the team, because what we did is we kind of created these kind of fake personas, and we mapped out, you know, if Joe is on the store and he's shopping, what does he care about? Well, he's this age, he's got this many kids, and so his main stores that he shops at are Home Depot, this, you know, and we kind of like mapped out like each of those scenarios and kind of tried to capture every different customer segment that we could think of. And that's what we thought a lot about when we built out these user stories, is who's the user, what are they trying to do, and make sure we map those out. So taking those user stories, then we then said, okay, what are we going to build, and what timeline are we going to build it in? So those are called sprints. So we took a certain number of stories that we looked at the effort level, who they were going to be assigned to, and we mapped out in 2-week sprints, you know, everything that was going to be built in those 2-week chunks. And at the end of each 2 weeks, you got a demo of what was built. And that's what we tried to maintain in the first phase release, was that constant, you know, 2 weeks, a lot of movement going on, a lot of visibility into what was going on. What's really important to that is, you know, we had daily meetings where we were talking about, you know, who's doing what constraints do you have, and is there anyone blocking you from doing your next thing? And that was really important. But I think, so for us it was very effective, but the major caution I would give to anyone who's going to take this approach, it's a completely different mindset for the team. You know, it's great in terms of accountability. Everybody knows what's assigned, when their stuff is due. But there's also this, because you're moving so rapidly and you're doing a lot of prototyping, you're doing a lot of demoing, there's a lot of opportunity where you stop documenting things. And that is a huge risk. And especially for us, you know, we're kind of, even though it was only a few months ago, we're already suffering in phase 2 with that, because we realized, oh man, you know, why did we make the decision? How does this connect to this? If we change this, what does this do? We captured a lot of that through the user stories, but it's not consolidated into one document. And especially since we're using so many vendors, because, you know, they're offering a skill set that we don't have internally, if you don't have that proper documentation and if you don't create those support plans, which is like a major focus of this phase, you create that opportunity that when those vendors leave, you're in a very vulnerable position. So, you know, as much as I loved how we did it and I'm very proud of the team and what we accomplished, you know, we're really in phase 2 taking a hard look at, okay, what's the right mix of Agile versus Waterfall, and how do we ensure, even if you do take an Agile approach, you still have the documentation and you still have your team and the people supporting in a position where they're comfortable to take over when things change.
Well, very good. Thank you for sharing that with us. I do have a question. I think time for one more question. I have one for Denise. The attendee would like to know how often Orange and Rockland reads the meters. Is it similar to Central Hudson? And also, how is Orange and Rockland promoting the recovery of the cost of the smart meters?
Orange and Rockland we actually read them monthly, and we are hoping at some point, you know, as far as AMI, that will really bring us into a completely different opportunity for, you know, for us to engage our customers. That won't probably be until about 2017, at least that far out. So, you know, we do take our, you know, the data that we receive on a monthly basis and, you know, compare to, you know, in our advisor, compare to efficient households. And you know, we're using that information to help guide our customers, you know, to make better decisions in education. Now, the rate case, the last rate case had you know, the information regarding AMI in that. But I'm sorry, I miss the second part of the question.
Oh, okay. It says, how is promoting the recovery of the cost of the smart meters? Yes, recovery.
Yeah. I'm not sure on that. I mean, because with this, we don't really have our smart meters right now, you know, employed right now. So it's just standard, you know, meter reading, and you know, we're going to be recovering that through you know, customer rates at some point. But that's all I really can say on that.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right, well, very good. Well, we'd like to thank you for presenting today, and as we're getting closer to the top of the hour, I want to be respectful of both your time and the attendees and conclude promptly. If your question was not answered and it's been submitted, Amber Weems with the CS Week office will follow up with the presenters and get that information back to you. Our presenters have been so gracious to provide their contact information here on the screen, so you can follow up with them directly on any questions other than that. So with that, I'd like to say thank you to Simple Energy, our presenters, and all the attendees for joining us today, and this will conclude our webinar. Have a great day.